Hey guys, this is Puermero here as an introductory film, if you will, of the character list that I have for my video game World of Warcraft. The first character you're looking at is my primary character. He is a warrior. Right now he's set up as a arms warrior for DPS. I mainly use him for tanking. But my DPS is nice and on par for multitude of different encounters and whatnot. I also have some oddball characters just for some giggly fun here and there. It's just to run around and have some fun as a different character. This is a arms warrior that I would technically use for PvP. His name is Økorr. Then I made another character as a warrior, and he is the Fury spec. And I made him just for giggles, just to have a whole nother character. As you will see, I'm pretty crazy with characters. This is Zixbi, my primary healing character. He is a holy priest. This is Vanquitaur, which is my Paladin. Right now he's set up in his Retribution setup, but I use all three specs with him. I use plenty of Retribution most of the time, and then if I have to heal, I'll go Holy. If I have to tank, I will be Protection. And he's got decent gear to be able to handle all three specs. This is my primary DPS character. He is a ranged hunter for the spec Marksman. This is Gortràk is his name. And then Traccu is one of the older characters that I had. That was one of my first hunters. Right now I'm testing out the waters and how beast mastery works. Traccu is his name. This is just a character that I had a free 100 boost at the time, way back for Legion content. That expansion gave me a free 100 level boost. I didn't know what to use it for. I decided to do what they call in-game cosplay, or what I'm calling it. I don't know if anybody else would call it that. But I wanted to make a High Mountain Tarn that resembles a character you get introduced to in the storyline of High Mountain. There's a character named Hûln High Mountain. I was kind of able to have the name just by altering the U with this little. It's a special U, so I don't know how the real pronunciation of that U in someone else's language would be. But also, as you can see in the back, there is a moose that happens to be representing the particular animal he saved to then have his people, his type of Tarn, become High Mountain Tarn. And I also try to name him the same way. The name of that particular beast is called Økorr. And this is the new setup that they had for survival spec hunters. They're melee hunters. And I just have them for looks. I mean, it's cool to get on them once in a while and just experience that spec. This is my primary rogue, Gladeath. And he's an assassination rogue. Might be changing his look later, but this is a primary look that I've had for him for a good while. This is a character I made, Gordulshiv. He was just another character I just wanted to make to have that particular armor set of the Frost Wolf clan. The main issue was that setup of gear was only allowed to be transmogged onto a leather wearer, and I wanted to make sure it was an orc that used leather, and I was like, you know what, I'll just make the only thing I would want to make is a rogue. That way I can have the two axes. Make him look pretty cool. It's been fun. He's in the Outlaw spec. That spec's been pretty interesting. I like Assassination still a little bit more. Then I got my primary Warlock. Felzard is pretty old. I made him way back in the very first expansion of the life of World of Warcraft. And I just recently got this setup of gear, which looks pretty darn cool. I'm very happy with the way he looks. He is set up as a Destruction Warlock. So far, I still enjoy playing Destruction Warlock. I like that spec. I did make an additional Warlock just for giggles too, and she is Demonology. Sûtra. Sûtra, as a demonologist, I went ahead and had the whole shebang of trying to have purple accents everywhere I could. I gave her little horns. That pet doesn't show it, but he actually has a weapon that goes pretty well with the setup. Has purple accents on that. So it's just been a whole my purse matches my boots kind of scenario. Then you got Cofrock, which is one of my oldest characters that I've had too since the beginning. And he is my main enhancement spec shaman. This particular armor set with these weapons as a look I've had for quite a long time. I think I want to say that I had it defined way back in the expansion of Cataclysm, I want to say, which was the third expansion of the game. And out of all the shaman specs, I think enhancement is still one of my top enjoyable specs, but I do also have an additional shaman here who is the elemental shaman, and I made him a Blackrock style orc. As you can see, I got a nice setup here with this big old hammer, and I got the flames going with the shield. I wanted to have that raw elemental style of, raw stuff. I wanted him to be just raw. I don't want him to look too flashy. And so far out of playing the elemental spec, that's been very fun. I want to say the damage output looks beautiful too. Then I made another High Mountain Tar, and right now the shield looks odd because of the way it doesn't save the look, but this is the mace that I wanted for the setup of this character, because the armor set that he has right now for a look is, I believe they call heritage armors, and as heritage armor, this is what the High Mountain Tarn would wear when you do particular achievements or whatnot. You have to do certain things to be able to get it, and it was nice. It was a very nice setup. It took me quite a while to get this mace set up because that was a PvP orientated involvement of trying to earn the look of that weapon. Like I said, the shield is something else. This is one of the shields from current content, but that's not the shield it's supposed to be. And then I got my Druid from way back. He was made quite far back. I think I made him also in Burning Crusade. And it was just to dip my toes into how Druids were. Back then, I didn't really play them too much. But then later on, as things progressed, things got pretty cool. I got him pretty much, half naked. Because most of the time, he's spent looking like a wooden cat, which I could probably do a video about that later. Then I made an additional Druid just to go the caster route. Like, hopefully here in the near future, my idea is to do casting as damage for her, and also possibly healing. I haven't dabbled into Druid healing yet because I've been having so much fun with my Paladin and my Priest and a little bit of the Shaman. Which, let me go back here. This guy is actually primarily a healing shaman. So that one I've been dabbling with now too a little bit, and it's been very enjoyable as well. And then we go into what I have as the very first Blood Elf Mage I ever made. This Blood Elf was also made back in Burning Crusade. This was my second character I ever made. Like, Puermero was my primary character, the only one I've ever had. This was the second character I made. I made him primarily for the fact that I dragged one of my friends into playing World of Warcraft, and when he made a character, I wanted to play with him, so the best option at that time was to create an additional character and just play alongside him. He, I believe, made a warrior, which is called Netherin, and I went ahead and made Arcfuse. So far, they had some changes on Blood Elves. You could probably see it, but he's got golden eyes. Back in the day, all you had was like a green eye color. And once they had the ability for you to change it, I jumped on the opportunity to change it. And this armor set was a beautiful thing. This is also a heritage type armor. Plus, the weapon is based on the lore of Blood Elves. So right now he is a fire mage that belonged to fire mages, the fire mage spec from Legion. Then I got some other mages just for giggles. I wanted to make a Nightborn race. Once I was allowed to create one, I said I only feel like they could be a mage. So I made this one in particular an arcane mage. Her name is Monolithra. And it's been interesting to play arcane. Arcane has changed quite a bit, and from what I remember it. But it's been fun. I can't say it's crazy cool, but I can't say it's horrible either. So I'm still like in the gray area with that. But then I made another character. I made a frost mage out of the Magar orcs, like the other orc that I had, and I decided to give her like this frost wolf feeling to her. So I gave her some gear that looks old and raw for the content she kind of comes from. This is the particular Legion staff I put on her. So her name is Zufrost. I kind of put two U's because they wouldn't let me put one. I guess somebody else had it. So it was cool. I was like, I'm fine with it. Frost spec has been still a pretty good solid spec. I'm probably going to dabble into playing a little bit more with her. Not quite sure if I'll do PvP, which is a whole nother ball game for some of these characters. This is one of my primary characters that I made for the content of the Wrath of the Lich King. When the Death Knights came out, this is what I created. His name is Ryson. I kind of gave him a backstory, as in he's a long lost dead brother of my main character Puermero. And it was funny. I gave him a whole little backstory on that. But I created him specifically to be like a tank because the blood spec at the time was more primarily for tanking. They didn't really have that solidified back then. Now it's definitely, if you're in blood spec, you are a tank. And in the beginning, it was very fun. It's still pretty fun to play a Death Knight. And to also change it up, I added more Death Knights. I went ahead and got this guy here, which is Økorr. I went with the name Økorr. I had to tweak the name a little bit. But technically, Økorr is the name of an orc that was a brother to a main character that's in the storyline that, spoiler alerts, he just got killed not too long ago. And his brother's name was like awesome, and I figured, why not make him a Death Knight? It's like maybe they found him and they went and just resurrected him. So there he is. That's why I did that name. And Frostspec's been pretty fun out of the DPS setups, which the other DPS setup I made for Unholy, I did it on one of the Zandalari Trolls. They just allowed us to do Death Knights on the allied races, which one of the allied races is a Zandalari Troll. And I figured I'd make him a Death Knight, the Zandalari Troll. I just went in and called him Blightcaller because I felt that being appropriate for what an unholy spec Death Knight really is. Then I got my monk from way back when I made him in Mist and Pandaria. It's been a pleasure playing, and a pure joy playing a monk. Let's just be real. Playing a monk was fun. Right now it's still fun. Some people are actually trying to make it seem like it's not that fun. But I think it's just everybody's level of enjoyment is always different. I went ahead and tried to give him a nice little red and darkened look. There's amalgamation of pieces here. Got the little eye patch because he kind of has some scratches on his face on the look that I gave him. So I decided, hey, what better way to accent the scratches? Put an eye patch. But Iron Shaw is a very fun character to play. He is the Windwalker spec. I actually have not dabbled into the other two specs, which one is healing and one is tanking. Mainly because it just looks like a pain in the butt, but at the same time, it's not something I wanted to dabble in at all. Like, I got my other healers and I got a main tank. Just didn't feel like it. Then my last character, which was what the last one they added from the other expansion, Legion. I called him Senshi Akama or Akuma, however you want to say it. Some people say it different ways, but essentially it's like demon warrior. I believe it's the other way. It's warrior demon. Since I got Senshi first, Senshi is warrior, and then Akama is demon. I wanted to actually give him some kind of meaning to that name. And he is the DPS spec, which is called Havoc. I haven't dealt with any tanking. I kind of made him... I gave him the setup for the tanking. I got the weapon and everything way back when that happened for Legion to get the artifact stuff. And I think I only did the tanking just for specific quests that were so potent, so difficult that you needed to be a tank for that survivability, because I couldn't do the quest, whatever that target I had to kill, just couldn't do it in Havoc. Just wasn't happening. And then I got a couple other characters down here. Gildana is what I would make her is a Shadow Priest, but right now she has at level 96. I'm not really yet wanting to just play her. I really don't care. I got her up into 96 only because I needed to get to 90 first just to be able to put this transmog gear set. But I actually got to change the belt and the gloves. That's not necessarily what I wanted on her, because she was going to be another type of character that had significant source of a like where she came from is the Shadow Moon clan. So I made her a Shadow Priest. That was the whole deal there. And then the other characters, I'm not probably going to do anything. I mean, I made one of the other races that they added. Amiki was a name that I thought was cute for a female priest. She would probably ultimately be a discipline spec priest, but I just haven't done anything. And Zibala would be my primary holy / tanking, but I just I got the other Paladin. I just made her just to save the name. Maybe I can remake the character, remake that name, I don't know. And then Killzook was going to be the Laughing Skull Orc I was going to have as a tanking style monk. Like, if I were to want to dabble into tanking with a monk, it was probably going to be this guy, because I think it would be hilarious, because tanking with the monk is like being the drunken monk kind of thing, a drunken kung fu, drunken master. So I figured, why not make him silly, drunk, laughing skull? I mean, the whole thing will just be a joke. So he'll just be a walking joke, really, just to make me laugh. But that's pretty much it. And hopefully I'll make a few videos of each character in different scenarios, trying to figure out how I can show everyone how I play. I'm actually going to start getting used to a new mouse. I just got a new mouse. It's got like 12 buttons for my thumb, so I got to get some good muscle memory on that, just to try to be as good as I can, because I know I was at a handicap with a standard mouse. I was incapable of possibly doing PvP, especially PvP was like the primary thing that showed me how much of a handicap I was in. I used to have what they call a legendary Warcraft mouse, and that had some additional buttons on it and stuff, and it was very cool. I was able to play my Paladin as a healer in PvP content, and I did phenomenal. I think that was some of my best playtime, hanging out with my one buddy Brad and this one guy, Hawaiian, that we knew, doing 3 versus 3 arena battles. We did pretty darn good. I was pretty quick on the draw and spotting moves, especially the ones I had on a mouse. Now I got even more buttons on the mouse, so I'll be able to spot even more moves that are pretty much crucial and necessary when it comes to a paladin, especially in the healing content. So hopefully I'll be able to show some PvP on that, show some PvP on this warrior here. I do mostly PvP. Well, at first I did mostly PvP with this hunter. I might continue to do both PvP and PvE with him because I just enjoy the way marksman spec is. But that's right now in the Battle for Azeroth content. Once the new expansion comes out, which is called Shadowlands, that's going to be a whole new ball game, a whole new set of skills, a whole new set of baseline skills, spells, etc. I'm going to have to set up my mouse probably a whole different way, find out where the extra buttons are going to go, and get a feel for how that content's going to come out, and hopefully I get to do a few videos of that content as well. I'm not sure yet how I want to do it, but we'll figure it out. So until then, thank you for watching. See you next time.